Warning, the following broadcast may contain hot takes and unpopular opinions made by a bunch of film nerds. Be aware of potential spoilers ahead. And with that said, welcome to the round table.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 2 of Reels at the Round Table, where we are not great at the advice, so can we interest you in a sarcastic comment instead? I'm Peter, and I'm here, and I'm joined by my fellow officers. If you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick.
I feel like you should introduce yourself first. I'm the anomaly here.
Jacob Cowan, I'm back again.
Alex Gribble, the PR manager, and I'm back again too.
And I'm Nolan Juno, not to be confused with the other Nolan, Treasurer Nolan. I'm Tech Lead Nolan. Remember,
Yes, you're Nolan number 1 for today.
I'm Nolan number 1 today, because
the other Nolan could not show up.
He is currently on the Amtrak.
I'm beginning to think that there's only one Nolan, and you guys are just the same
That's
person.
what we do. We're like each week, like next week, it'll be Treasurer Nolan. Then the week after, it'll be me. So we just gaslight our audience into saying that we're the same person, despite the fact that we look completely different.
Yeah, I feel like this podcast is like equivalent to Endgame when we have both Nolans in the same episode, because that would
bring the end of the world.
That would bring the end of the world. Yes,
it would be over.
Anyway, so how are we all feeling today, boys? We all feeling pretty good?
Good. Was able to rest up because of Veterans Day weekend, which is nice.
Yes.
Only watched one movie this weekend, though, surprisingly. I feel like I went into this movie, I was like, I'm going to watch like 6 movies this weekend because I got nothing to do, and the only movie I've seen was Good Burger, so.
That's a classic.
I've had a very eventful long weekend because I haven't been able to work. So I learned how to crochet.
As one does.
All the while watching old Disney shows that I used to love as a kid, like Phineas and Ferb and all those other funky cartoons.
That sounds like the ideal weekend, to be honest.
Alex, what about you? Anything fun this weekend?
I've kind of just been hanging with my family. I have not spent the night at home. I've been staying up here just to do some work, and because all my belongings are here. But
yeah,
for the day, I've just been driving on home and hanging with family. Yesterday, I went to Salisbury Beach to look for seals with my brother, who's an animal lover.
Oh, nice.
We saw a lot of them up close.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my mom came to visit for the weekend a bit. And then, I spent all day yesterday making another movie in College Woods. My first, historical battle recreation. And I've been catching up on Loki, because I just waited until all 6 episodes came out, because I wasn't sure how good it would be. But it's actually been pretty decent, not gonna lie. But yeah, so this week a lot of good stuff happened this week. As of time we are recording, obviously. The movie theater is pretty packed with some interesting films. Obviously, last episode we talked about the FNAF movie. We all had some very similar, some opposing opinions on that. And then obviously Killers of the Flower Moon is still screening. Have any of you guys seen it yet?
Nope.
I have not.
I was thinking about seeing it this weekend. I never got around to it, though, and I'm a little sad. But because next week's not really going to work out, so it's going to have to be the week after. It's going to stay in theaters that long, but it's still like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely watch it when I get home.
All good things must wait.
And then another movie that's been in the theater for a couple of weeks is Priscilla, the documentary movie based on the wife of Elvis Presley.
I know, I haven't seen any Sofia Coppola films, but I saw the trailer for that. It seemed interested in that. And like I said, I haven't seen any of her films, but I think the way that she approaches directing seems to be very different. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and then we got 2 new movies in the theater this week. Both premiered. I think both of them premiered this week. I don't know. The first one, which hasn't sparked a lot of news, or no one's really been raving about it, but the Hunger Games prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I've never actually seen any of the Hunger Games movies, so I can't really give an opinion on this.
Uncultured.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen them, though, so I can't really talk.
I have not seen them.
Oh, yeah.
I have seen all of them, and I've read the books.
Oh, I mean, I've obviously read the books, but, I watched the movies at the same time as when I read the books, which is, at this point, probably 10 years ago, so...
Yeah, well, I've never watched any of the movies or read any of the books, so my knowledge of the lore is pretty it's close to none. And when I mean close to none, I mean the closest I know about these games is the Minecraft Hunger Games on Minecraft servers that I used to play as a kid. So yeah, and then the other movie that came out this week, which has been getting some pretty heated reviews, is The Marvels, the follow-up to Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother said that people hated it.
I've heard, I haven't really heard a whole lot about it, but I've heard, mixed things in a way where it's, some people dislike it, but some people do like it. I have no opinion on it yet, haven't seen it. I've only seen the trailer, 4,000 times since every single movie I've went to see in theaters for the past 6 months have had it as the trailer for it playing, so,
Yeah, we talked about Marvel quite a lot in last week's episode, and from what I've heard, this is just another one of those Marvel dump movies is what it's been described. Not a lot of rave, not a lot of people have been going to watch it, a lot of low interest to actually go and watch this movie. Seems like a lot of people are just waiting for it to come out on Disney Plus and watch it to kill time.
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't seen it, so I can't really give an opinion on it.
I wonder how long MCU films will still... I mean, obviously they'll be put out in production for a long time, but it's very clear now that the trend has been dying in the theaters. There's less and less people interested. I mean, you still have, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which came out earlier this year, still raked in a lot of money. It's one of the top-grossing films from this year. I don't think it is the top-grossing, because I think Barbie's higher, but it's either second or third around that area. But
I think it might be third if you factor in Oppenheimer.
Fair. I'm not sure. We need to look into it. But it is definitely, I'm curious to see what will happen in the next few years, because it is definitely becoming a more common theme, even among, non-film related people, that we're losing interest in Marvel. And, yes, we have the TV shows. We have Loki coming out, which is getting great reviews. But I'm just curious how long Marvel as a movie production company will continue at the rate they're right now. Do you think maybe they'll end up going more for a TV route in the future? Do you think they're just going to keep making movies but put them straight to Disney Plus? What do you think?
Well, honestly, I feel like they're just going to keep going the route that they have been, which is 3 movies a year and then roughly 3 TV shows per year. Because obviously the Marvel production trend does not seem to be stopping, even though, as we discussed last week, there was a lot of controversy behind some behind-the-scenes news that's been popping up concerning future movies and shows. But speaking of trends...
Real quickly, I do have the top grossing movies of 2023.
All right, list them off.
So, number 1 is Barbie.
No surprise.
Number 2, the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And then, to round out the top 5, Oppenheimer.
Wow,
that makes a lot of sense.
Oppenheimer's lower than I thought it was going to be.
Oppenheimer didn't make as much money as I think a lot of people expected to. And to be fair, I think it's just because I know a lot of people who were interested in seeing Barbie but not interested in Oppenheimer. Yeah, specifically among non-film related people.
Yeah,
if people are just going to go out and see a movie with their free time, I think more people would be inclined in watching a movie about Barbie than a movie about J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Yeah, well...
Even if both are still, clearly very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming from a guy that's, worked at a movie theater over the summer, I do know that there was, a majority of people did come to watch Barbie, and only about, half or a solid third of those people watched Oppenheimer on the same day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so speaking of trends, the biggest news in film culture this week is that the SAG-AFTRA strike has finally ended. Apparently, both communities and the big studios were able to come to an agreement this week. I don't know much about the terms that they agreed to, but higher pay is one of them. Which means starting next week, I believe, or I guess starting tomorrow, people will be going back in production on all these big upcoming films will now finally be back on track.
Yeah. Surprised it only took half a year for studio executives to be like, hey, we should pay our employees more. Massive discovery. But,
It is what it is. But yeah, and then one thing we didn't touch on last week was, which connects actually to our film-related quote for this week's episode, was the unfortunate death of Matthew Perry, who famously played Chandler Bing in the Friends TV show. I've only watched 2 episodes of it, and then I've watched like a lot of compilation clips on YouTube. But Chandler is like one of those standout characters because I feel like for the time that show came out, Chandler kind of like was like on the mindset of like what someone from our generation would probably like say or think during, like, if we were placed in like an old sitcom like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think a lot of like the reason why old sitcoms like that have been gaining, like, still have as much popularity as they always have, like Friends, Seinfeld, etc. Just because, like, even if the actual time they were filmed in takes place is old to us, is ancient to us, I think a lot of like the humor still passes through. Yeah, there's maybe some jokes that don't land as much, like especially like jokes that are more like grounded to a time period. But I think in general, a lot of those sitcoms are able to get like a humor that spans multiple generations, which is why people our age love those shows just as much as our parents may have.
Yeah.
But it's very unfortunate.
Personally, I've never actually seen Friends, so you've watched 2 more episodes than I have to give you credit.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it was everywhere when he was found and all that stuff. And just recently, I saw that they released his death certificate, but they did not label a cause of death yet. So that is still, I guess, officially unknown.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's tons of speculations about what it could have been.
Yeah, well, famously, he did have a drug problem some point during his career, during his time when Friends was still airing, and then following that. But he was like a very famous actor for his time, and it's crazy because he was actually younger than my parents when he passed away.
How old is it?
54.
54.
Oh, wow.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he
Younger
got
than
the
my
age of
parents, too.
54.
Considerably younger than my parents as well.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, I have very old parents, but you know.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
I have older parents too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, crazy things. And so, yeah, rest in peace to Matthew Perry. And then going back on the subject of a lot of movies that halted production because of the strike and now going back on track, one thing that came out of this was the official release date announcement for James Gunn's upcoming Superman movie. The movie is now slated to release in July on July 11th, 2025. Personally, you know, this is something that, as someone that's followed a lot of, like, the superhero genre, I don't know, train for the past couple of years for both Marvel, DC, and everything outside of that, like, you know, Invincible and The Boys, I don't know how to feel about this movie, honestly, because DC, for those of you who don't know, has been, like, on a track, like, on a messy track with going through a whole bunch of different supervisors to oversee DC's movie universe or cinematic universe, which has been having a hard time with movies like, you know, Black Adam. Blue Beetle was fairly successful, I'd say. Well, not overly successful, but it still racked in a decent amount of money. But yeah, a new Superman movie which won't include Henry Cavill, apparently. So I don't know. James Gunn's a fairly good director. Like, he did really well with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a bit on the nose of him, or on the fence of him directing a Superman movie, but we'll have to wait and see what the future holds for it.
I was going to say, basically, besides release date, there's like nothing else that's really been said about it.
Actually, they did have an official cast announcement.
A cast announcement.
I don't actually. So the thing about the cast, I'm just pulling that up right here. From what I remember, give me 1 second here. Anyway, as I was saying, they did confirm 6 actors that will be playing certain characters in the Superman movie. The first one's a bit of an unknown for me, but the actor known as David Corn Sweat, I believe you pronounce his name, will be playing Superman. A bit of an unknown. I've never seen this guy in a movie, so, but he does look a lot like Superman, so that'll be interesting. Then for Lois Lane, she will be played by Rachel Brosnan from, I think she was in The Crown, actually. Yeah, so that's interesting. And then this is a bit more of a well-known actor, but Nathan Fillion will be playing Guy Gardner, or I guess in this case, one of the Green Lanterns, which is interesting. He's a good actor. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And he does play the lead in the TV show The Rookie, which is like a cop show, I guess. And then Isabella Merced, I believe you say her name, most famously known for playing Dora in the live-action Dora the Explorer movie. She'll be playing Hawkgirl. And then I'm going to butcher some of these names. Eddie Gathegi will be playing Mr. Terrific. I don't know. He is known for playing Darwin in Marvel and Fox's X-Men First Class. Haven't seen that movie. And then Anthony Carrigan will be playing Metamorpho, and he is known for he played Victor Zsasz in the Gotham television series. Not sure anything else, but yeah, so a bit of a, no offense, but a bit of an unknown, a lot of unknowns for this movie.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they'll do with the casting there. I wonder if it's if a new like cinematic universe might be tied around these new castings and these new characters. If anything will come about that. If not, I assume something would come about it. I think James Gunn has a fairly good track record with being able to make successful films, and the fact that we're talking about this right now shows that people are interested. So we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to wait till we get a trailer, till more information comes out. We've got a lot of time until it releases, so.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that we will actually be going into our senior year when this movie comes out, actually.
We will.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Because we are all sophomores here. Look at that.
Yes, crazy.
Time flies.
Yeah, not sure if you're leaning out of the camera there, Nolan, but
Oh.
doesn't matter. Do
forward.
what you want to do. So we do have two other small pieces of news, but I did want to ask: do we want to move on to our first game for the podcast, or should we just bullet through these last two news announcements real quick?
Let's break things up. Let's do a game.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin our first ever game for the podcast,
Here
which
we go.
is really exciting. Do we want to
Yeah.
give a little
Get
clap?
some round of applause.
Round of applause, yes.
Don't put the mic though.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Gotta get a pop filter on this.
This is a game that's inspired by another game from the YouTube channel, Mr. Sunday Movies. They do a lot of like film reviews, film games, and they do have their own podcast too. So shout out to them. This is a kind of like my own adaptation of the game. Guess the movie based on the 1-star review. However, I have put a bit of my twist on this, and obviously because we're all college students and like you guys, I don't really have the time to find a lot of 1-star reviews on Letterboxd. So we're just going to call this Guess the Movie based on the bad review.
The bad review.
Yes, so just for those of you, just so that everyone knows, all these reviews I have handpicked from Letterboxd.
The pinnacle of film criticism.
Yes, and to make the game a bit easier, because a lot of these reviews don't give a lot of context to the films, all the films I've picked were released this year, so 2023.
Okay.
The rules are pretty simple. I will read off a review from a certain movie. Each one of you guys will get a turn to decide or to pick the movie. If no one can guess the film, there are lifelines to help you guys guess. The first lifeline is I will read off another review from the same movie. Can be good or bad, and we'll see how much context is given.
All right.
The next one is I will name you the director
Ooh.
of the film. If that doesn't work, I will name 2 actors that appeared in said film. And then we have another lifeline, which is my personal favorite. I will give you my own hilarious summary or description of said film.
I heard a little bit of hesitation when you said hilarious.
Well, the thing is that, like, I was half asleep when I wrote these descriptions, and just for context, I have seen all 5 of these.
All right.
So, but don't worry if you haven't seen any of these, because arguably these movies are, like, some of the most popular ones from this year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Let's keep going.
let's get going. So the way this will work is that if you guess the movie correctly, you will earn a point. If none of you guys guess the movie, no one will get a point. And I have picked 5 films, but if we for some reason have a draw, there will be a bonus film.
Bonus round.
All right, so are you guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
And just for context, I can reread you guys the lifelines, but for each of you, you will only be allowed to use each lifeline once.
Cool.
So if you use that lifeline, it cannot be used again. So, before we get started, which one of you would like to start the guessing?
I'll go.
Nolan, you have placed yourself up on the pedestal for today. Let me...
I regret
Pick
my
this
decision.
All right,
I'm
so...
kidding.
Okay. And just for our audience out there, I can promise that there is nothing controversial about these reviews, nothing political, just the opinions of people that have watched these films. So I ran through these just so that we won't get canceled. Okay, Nolan, are you ready?
Yep.
This review was given 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars. Okay.
And the review is, oh, the CGI baby from Twilight, Breaking Dawn, got siblings. Like I said, not much context.
That is okay. Can you reread that again?
3.5 stars.
3.5 stars.
No swears. You got it. Oh crap. The CGI baby from Twilight, Breaking Dawn, got siblings.
I'm just trying to think like what that could possibly mean in the context. I might need a lifeline.
So the context for this is that this wasn't a real baby. It was a CGI baby.
I'm aware. I figured that out.
So you want to use would you like to know, what lifeline would you like to use?
Oh, I thought it was just running through like the order. Like I can ask for any of them?
You can ask for any one, but whichever one you pick you cannot use again.
Oh, right.
So we have the name of the director. I can give you another review. I can give you 2 actors that starred in this movie. Mm-hmm. Or I can read you my own personal description.
Okay, I'm going to go with one of... I'm not going to go with the super helpful one just yet. I'm going to go for the 2 actors.
The 2 actors. Okay, so you have picked the 2 actors for this film. 2 actors that appeared in this film are Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton.
Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. I'm going to guess... Okay, I'm going to guess. Can I do my guess? Can I just say
Alex, Jacob, do any of you guys want to run a guess real quick?
I thought it was his.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Sorry. Nolan, yes, you may guess.
The Flash.
Yes, it is The Flash. Very good.
It makes more sense with the... I think that was actually a very easy choice because Michael Keaton, I'm like, oh, duh.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I forgot that The Flash exists, though, so that's why I was having an issue.
So just so you guys know, for the actors, I have not... For some of them, I did list the main 2 starring actors or actresses. The other ones, not so much.
Gotcha.
So Nolan, you get a point.
Woohoo.
Alex, Jacob, which one of you wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Alex. Your review is... Okay, I think this is a good one. Okay, like I said, 2023 film. 0.5 star.
Brutal.
This would never happen in real life.
You could say
Is this
that
Barbie?
No, this is not Barbie. Would you like to take another guess, or should we allow Jacob to steal the point, or let Jacob make a guess?
We can let Jacob make a guess.
All right.
Okay.
You forfeit.
Giving your points away.
Giving your point away.
I could use a lifeline here, but I'm going to make a guess simply because, in my opinion, I feel like this comment is super sarcastic, so I'm going to say Oppenheimer.
Yes, it's Oppenheimer. So we got a point there.
Good guess.
Yeah, this is Oppenheimer.
This would never happen in real
This
life.
would never happen in real life.
Why do I feel like you've seen this review before?
I haven't.
I took it as being
I have
serious.
not seen that review before, but I can like picture it in my head now because that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, all right.
I thought they were taking it seriously and thought it would be Barbie because of the Dream Mansion.
It's Letterboxd. Is anything serious?
Not really. Give me 1 second here. All right. Nolan,
All right, I'm back.
are you ready to get... do you want to guess again, or do you want to give Alex a shot?
I'll guess again unless you feel like you really want to make that point. What do you think?
You can guess again.
All right.
All right, Nolan, you'll guess again.
I'm not taking this real
Okay.
seriously.
Another movie.
I am.
2-star review.
2 stars.
Meh.
Meh. So just like MEH period.
MEH.
Meh.
Just meh. Like I said, you have lifelines.
I was
unless you
gonna
wanna
say
do
I'm
good.
gonna use a lifeline. I'm thinking about
Okay,
what
so
lifeline I wanna
last lifeline you used was the actor, so you
Yes.
can't use that one again.
So I have directors, I have your description, and I have another review.
Yes.
I'm gonna say. The thing is that the director one's gonna be a very obvious, like, oh, that's what it is.
Cut it. It's your choice, man.
I'm gonna go with your description.
Okay, well, I feel like my description might give it away a bit, but here we go.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have done this one, but it's
Well,
fine.
no, you picked it, so it's
I picked it.
Okay.
We're locked in.
You ready? They definitely put something else in Paddington's marmalade sandwich.
Is it Five Nights at Freddy's?
No.
What?
Alex, the table goes to you.
Oh boy.
Half the review, meh. And then my own description. They definitely put something else in Paddington's sandwich. What's the movie?
It's Freddy's. I haven't really. I'll pass it to Jacob.
You don't want to guess? Okay, Jacob.
Is it Paddington?
No. None of you guessed the movie. So that means none of you will get a point,
None of us will get a point.
and I will name the movie. The movie was Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
I forgot that movie came out this year.
I forgot that was this year.
Okay, that makes
year.
more sense, but that review is not giving us any clues on that.
Well, Paddington is a bear. I thought that would give it away.
Yeah, but also I just forgot. I feel like, who was the director for that?
Well, I mean, okay, so the director for it was the director for actually now that I think about it, I did not put the name of the director in this one, but I will look it up. Give me 1 second. Yes.
Good thing you didn't ask.
I forget. Oh, I know who it is. I don't know why I forgot her name.
Yeah, well,
Elizabeth Banks. I think.
Elizabeth Banks.
Yes.
Elizabeth Banks directed Cocaine Bear.
I feel like if I gone for the director one, I would have been able to get that. But
Now do
well.
you see why I said this game would be a bit challenging? All right,
Yes.
so
Meh.
let's keep it going.
so no one guessed it. Who was the one on the block? So yeah, none of you guys guessed it. So since no one was the first one to guess it, Alex will move on to you for this one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
You ready to lock in a guess? Okay, give me 1 second here. I screenshotted a lot of these, so give me 1 second. All right. Half-star review.
Another brutal one.
2.5 hour movie. Couldn't think of an ending. God damn!
Blasted.
It was the camera.
Right in the middle of the description.
How disgraceful.
All right. Well, the review. All right.
Start again.
Camera cut out. I'm sorry, people. All right. Half-star review. 2.5 hour movie. Couldn't think of an ending. Why they didn't do the backgrounds? Too many blanks for any one of them to matter.
The Marvels.
Well, similar franchise.
I got it.
Jacob.
Guardians.
Oh no, you want to take another guess?
Yes, please.
All right.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
No.
That was gonna be my guess.
Do you want me to give you a lifeline so you can guess?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what lifeline would you like to use? You can use director, another review, actors, or my own personal summary.
How about another review?
Another review. Okay. The half a star is not deserved, but this movie needs its rating brought down. It is so incredibly overrated. It goes over the same character developments as the first movie, and is littered with plot holes and clashing writing ideas. The main problem of the movie can be solved with simple logical thinking. The first movie is so much better in every way, much like No Way Home. This only got such high praise due to cameos.
Spider-Verse?
Yes, it was
Cross the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Yes. Okay. Let me just double check here what we have done. And okay, so we got one more movie. Jacob. So each of you has a point, I believe. So this is the tiebreaker. Unless none of you get the movie, I will do one more. Jacob, are you ready to possibly win the game?
I am so ready.
Yeah, and apologies to the audience if we've gone through this way too quickly. These guys know movies just as much as I do, and I thought this game would take a bit longer, but we are where we are. Good thing we have some other things to talk about. All right, are you ready? Half a star. What the F? Why did they even make this? It's so useless. The jokes even wasn't jokes. I fake laughed because I felt bad for the amount of money my friends spent to see this soundtrack was horrible. Well, so is this person's writing. Actors were fine and suitable, but dialogue was crap. Never, ever again.
Can I interject something? It sounds like a Rotten Tomatoes audience review.
Well, I don't know the age of this person because it's all one sentence, and some things were misspelled.
That is the average Rotten Tomatoes audience critic.
Can I get your description?
I'm not sure you're ready for this one.
Oh no. What have I done?
Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Oh God. After hanging out with Oppenheimer, Harley Quinn thinks of the concept of death and goes out into the real world, while Buddy from 2003's Elf hunts her down because he wants to put her in a box. What's the movie?
Is it Barbie?
Yes, it's Barbie. All right,
Good one.
So Jacob's the winner.
Let's go.
Just for fun, should I also include the bonus film?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, we'll
Yeah,
go.
why not?
We'll go
All
through
right,
it
so you
quickly.
know what? Because this is a bonus round, I'll take, and I should have done this with all the movies, but I'll just make this an open round. So basically, after I'm done reading the review, any one of you can take a guess.
So like
Okay.
Family Feud, like press the
Yes,
button.
and now that I think about it, I should have made this game Family Feud from the start.
What do I win?
My respect. Just kidding.
Nice.
You
else
get to
could
host
you
the
win?
next episode.
Fantastic.
All right. Are you guys ready to guess this movie? Half a star. Might as well watch real people fight. And like I said, any of you guys can ask for a lifeline, but you can't ask for the same lifeline you've used already.
Might as well watch real people fight.
Feel free to jump in with a lifeline if you need it.
I do have a guess for the actual answer.
Okay.
Is it Creed 3?
God damn it. Yes, it is Creed 3. And just for fun, I did, the other review for this movie would have been, bro, this film was actually so bad, bring back Sylvester Stallone before I die of old age, the flashbacks sucked worse than anything. And then my description for this movie was that's Barbie. After spending quality time in LA, Killmonger from Black Panther is challenged by Kang the Conqueror from Ant-Man for the title of Best Marvel Villain. And for context, that's because the people that starred in this movie were Michael B. Jordan, who played Killmonger in Black Panther, and Jonathan Majors, who played Kang the Conqueror in almost every Marvel project that's come out recently.
And nothing of note has happened to him since. Wink, wink.
Well, true. Although he has been in Loki, and
Anyway,
so that was the game. Sorry, it went by more quickly than I expected.
I mean,
It's a work in progress. But did you all have a good time? Did you all enjoy this game?
I greatly enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Any feedback?
I loved it because I won. If I didn't win, I
Very
would have hated
biased.
it.
Oh, wait a minute. Nolan guessed Creed. So you both tied.
Well, that was the bonus question.
We'll say
after.
technically you won because, yes.
I get brownie points.
Okay,
You
so
get-
if you guys don't mind, next time I host or next time we play this game, I feel like every round should be up for grabs for anybody instead of like going like in a circular motion. My bad. I should have thought about this more. But then again, when I was coming up with the rules for this game, it was like 1 a.m. and I was half asleep. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed. Guess the movie based off the bad review. And we do have 2 other bits of news we can talk a bit more about. So, going back on the subject of live action adaptations. One piece of news that came out this weekend was the original creator behind the Legend of Zelda movie, or the Legend of Zelda game, will be producing and making a live-action Legend of Zelda movie. How do we feel about this?
I remember seeing more about this. I think it was announced, I think it's like 5 days ago around this point, but it announced that Shigeru Miyamoto, who obviously created Mario and worked as also like a creative director. I believe he created the original Zelda games. I know now the director of the Legend of Zelda franchise is Eiji Onuma, but anyway, point is blah. But I do know that, let me look it up. While I look up who produced and who's slated to direct it, you guys can fill in something.
Okay, yeah, how do we feel about another historic video game getting adapted to live action?
I feel like it could go one of two ways. Mm-hmm. Either it's a really great nostalgic movie, or it's one that kind of is trying to cram too much in. Mm-hmm. Personally, I didn't really grow up playing much Zelda. Mm-hmm. I think the most I ever did was play like The Adventures of Link or something on the DS. So I'm not too well acquainted with that franchise necessarily. So
me as well. The closest I've come to Zelda was watch someone make a 1-minute Minecraft parody summary about the game. Alex, did you play Zelda growing up?
I have Breath of the Wild, and I started it, but I never finished it because I was afraid that I'd get hooked, and I didn't have time to walk through the game at the time.
So that means you're probably a bit more experienced than us. How do you feel about this?
I think it could either be a really good movie, or it could be or they can make it really cheesy just to draw the audience in.
Yeah. I mean, like, I figured out what I was going to say. Okay. I've always kind of liked the Legend. I played through a lot of the Legend of Zelda games growing up. I had a lot of ones, like some of the ones that were on the DS and the Wii. Kind of played them a lot in retrospect later, because throughout high school I was really into collecting vintage video games, and so I would collect like Ocarina of Time. We had Majora's Mask. I collected Wind Waker, etc. Point is, I've been playing a lot of these games for a long time. I'm interested, but the more I look into it, the more I'm kind of hesitant, because Shigeru Miyamoto is set to produce alongside Avi Arad, who, if you don't know, is the chairman of Marvel Studios and has also worked as a producer. He's worked as a producer for almost all the Marvel films, alongside Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, as well as movies such as Venom and Morbius and Uncharted. So, interesting track record there. I'm interested to see there, but also the director, I believe Wes Ball, is set to direct right now. He is mainly known for directing the 3 Maze Runner movies, as well as Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is going to be the upcoming Planet of the Apes movie, which is interesting. So
another upcoming franchise movie.
But I'm interested because obviously this doesn't mean that he's going to be the final director. Sometimes stuff gets thrown on. I mean, Chris Columbus was originally going to direct the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but seeing that, I'm both like intrigued, but I'm also seeing those names attached to it. I'm starting to suspect that it might end up going towards the Mario movie crowd pleaser, as opposed to having actual substance behind it. Like I said, I'm not going to say anything firm while it's happening before we even know anything about it, but I'm a little hesitant, because I think when you look at for example, the Mario movie, or even the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, the games that those are based off of are not super serious video games. They're very much a video game at heart. It's just fun to play. And so I think both movies respectively channeled that. The Legend of Zelda is definitely that, but it also has a lot more of a sense of adventure and vastness to it. And so I feel like of all the video game movies that could be made of popular IPs like this is the one that could have the most potential to be like a Lord of the Rings style, massive event. It could go the Lord of the Rings route, where it's 3-hour movies spread across 2 years. And I would love to see that. Or it could go a one-off 2-hour-long movie. Either way, I know it's going to make a lot of money, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were sequels. But I'm interested to see what direction it could end up going. It could even go like something like the modern Dune movies, where like they have an expansive story to tell and they split it in half. Which, if so, I think it might be for the better for that, but it also could be for the worse. So right now, it's all up to interpretation.
Yeah, it's specifically when this movie is also going to be a live-action adaptation, which is...
And I've heard a lot of people complain about that online because I think there's a lot of things. First off, people don't really have... When they hear live-action adaptation, usually the consensus is, oh, God. Yeah. Like, not usually it's not necessarily a great thing. There have been some exceptions, but generally... An adaptation of something that isn't live action to something that is live action usually is pretty rocky. I think a lot of people are very scared about the casting for Link. Not only who he's going to be cast as, but if he's going to have speaking roles or not, because historically throughout all the games, he's the silent hero. He doesn't really say anything besides like the, "Whoa, yeah," as he swings his sword or whatever. But
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I hope it does continue the silent protagonist route, because if it doesn't, I hope whoever is gonna be voicing him has a good voice, because we don't want it to turn into a meme.
Yeah, and then for the sake of time, we will move on from the live action adaptation. Although I did want to talk about, although this was announced way earlier, like last year, that God of War will also be receiving a live action remake from Amazon. But the last news from this week is that Netflix officially dropped the first trailer for the live action TV adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know about you guys, but I personally watched the trailer a couple times. But yeah, so I saw the trailer about 2-3 times maybe. Animation wise, it looks or like CGI wise, I should say, big step up from the live action film that we got back in 2011. I think it was when it came out. Not a lot of, I mean, there was some narration. I'm not sure who it was from. Could be our good friend Iro, Uncle Iro. But yeah, so it looks to be about like a near live action shot for shot remake of the original show. But like I said, there's a lot of improvement. I'm just concerned about the pacing, if they're going to remake every individual episode, or if they're going to kind of like flow through each season, I guess, for those of you that have seen the original show. But I gotta say, as of right now, it looks pretty good. It all just depends on like the acting and all those other sorts of things. But right now, it looks decent. On the fence, but decent.
I never watched the Avatar shows when I was younger. My older brother did, and he very much enjoys it, so I'd be interested in talking with him sometime soon about his views on that, if he's seen the trailer or not. But yeah, I just don't feel like I could be the one to talk about that.
I haven't watched any of them either, so I know nothing about it.
Alex, did you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender growing up?
I have not.
Okay, well, since
we are all uncultured.
We are all extremely uncultured. This is very sad.
Why, guys, you're putting me in a bad spot here, but okay, well, I mean, for summary, it's basically just about like it's about a kid who is basically like the reincarnation of like some spiritual power. He's like in a long line of a spirit that's like reincarnated, who has to bring balance to the 4 nations, that kind of thing. He's got a flying bison and a flying lemur.
As one does.
As one does when saving the world, and he's got to fight off the invading Fire Nation, which is just people that know how to fight with fire.
Yeah, like I know like the general idea behind the show. I know like the idea of like the elements, but beyond that, not a whole lot.
Well, for context, the original animated show, which is on Netflix, in case you guys want to watch it. I mean, I watched it when I was younger, and I rewatched it a couple of years back, and it is actually still pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's very highly.
The show was. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I can't list off the names of all the directors that worked on it because there is a fair amount. But one of the leading producers of the original show was Dave Filoni. For those of you who don't know, he's the guy that works on a lot of the live-action Star Wars shows that have been coming out recently. He worked on the Clone Wars. Rebels, Resistance, and the movie. Give me 1 second here. Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. Yes, 2010. It was that movie was directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Right, I remember that. I think a lot of those like animated shows going to a live action movie, especially in like the 2010s, a lot of them ended up turning out awfully, and I know that one did. And I know usually a lot of like high profile directors behind that. I know the like the live action Dragon Ball movie that got absolutely hammered on by critics. I know that was directed by James Wan. So,
and then we've also had the other Mortal Kombat. We've had like a couple Mortal Kombat
Forgot
live
about those,
adaptations. I mean, the more recent one I think was fared better off than the earlier ones, but
still.
Yeah, although I do hear that they are now in pre-production for the sequel. And Carl Urban, the guy that plays what's his name, Butcher in the Boys TV show, and who also played another character in Thor Ragnarok, will be playing Johnny Cage, which is actually kind of interesting because Johnny Cage is not Australian. But yeah, so that's all of the news and for this week and the game. Does anybody else have anything we want to talk about before we wrap everything up?
Not really.
I think that was really.
All right then. Well, thank you guys so much for watching episode 2 of the Reels of the Round Table. Jacob, you will be hosting next week's episode. Anything we can expect from that?
I will be in charge, so I'm going to make sure that it goes great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's our president.
That's the one thing I can guarantee, is that it will be the best ever.
The best podcast.
We might as well stop after episode 3 because we won't be able to top it.
We are the best podcast.
Oh, yes,
we are the best.
We topped Joe Rogan as the #1 podcast worldwide.
Yeah,
Joe Rogan wants to be on our podcast.
Yes, we don't want to be on his. He wants to be on ours.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, that's a wrap for episode 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.